Hey folks, our OS Reviews. You're watching our video review of the V9 smartwatch. This acts as both a standalone watch, so supports a micro SIM card behind the back cover. It's an unlocked GSM device, so you can use it overseas or here in the States. And there's also access to a micro SD card slot here that you will need if you want to take images with this particular watch. But more importantly, it's not just a cell phone watch, it's also a smartwatch, so it pairs with pre-existing smartphones, Android devices, and iPhones alike. We simply install an application that's free in the App Store, and afterwards it's going to pair with your phone using Bluetooth, and whenever you have a new email or notification on your phone, the watch itself will vibrate and tell you have a new message that you can partially read on the screen. There's also other applications that are linked to the phone. For example, I can now take images using the watch, and I can control the camera on my cell phone, and there's also a link feature that prevents you from losing your phone. So whenever you're out of a 30-meter connection range using Bluetooth, the watch will vibrate and say you've lost your phone, you should probably go and look for it, and other nice little features here and there. The V9 smartwatch also has the ability to be a fitness tracker or an activity tracker. It tracks your tracks your number of steps you've taken and also the calories you've burned in a day and into your sleep patterns. So it's going to be very similar to the Misfit Shine or a Fitbit device, which is pretty interesting. It comes in two color iterations, black and white, and it retails for about $50, so very inexpensive. Taking a look at the design, it's pretty nice. It's made entirely out of plastic, unfortunately, so it's very lightweight but not the best feeling device in the hand. There is a 1.55-inch capacitive touchscreen display, which is bright, vibrant, and responsive, and on the right-hand edge we have access to a 1.3 megapixel camera that you can use to take some spy shots with. It also supports video recording, but no HD quality here. There's also a on-off switch, and essentially that's it. On the right-hand side, we do have access to a microphone and a micro USB port for charging and syncing, and basically that's the battery cover. You can also swap out the armbands if you want to customize that to your liking. Now, the interface itself is pretty clean and simple and nice in terms of design. It's a lot better than pre-existing watch phones that we've previously reviewed, such as the SVP S13, and it's very similar in feature set to this device, except that the V9 is actually, again, a accessory for cell phones. So it's a smartwatch accessory in addition to being a phone watch, whereas the SVP here is only a cell phone watch. It only supports a SIM card. You can take phone calls with it, but it doesn't connect to other devices. In terms of size, again, it is about the same size as other cell phone watches currently on the market. So taking a look now at the actual menu experience, when you first power the device on, it has different clocks that you can actually select from. It's very easy to cycle through them. You have a digital watch clock. There's also you have access to a analog style one, so a nice different wealth of different options you can select from. They're all pretty attractive and interesting options to select from, but you can't actually get more options, so you are limited to the 4 that are included when you first power the device on. To exit the menu here, we simply tap and long press, and we now are into the menu. There's a few different applications you can select from here. On the top here, we have an access to a reception area, so it tells us how much bars we have on our reception for our phone if we have a SIM card inserted. On the right hand side, there's a battery indicator. Speaking of, it takes about 2 hours to fully charge this product, and it lasts about a full day before we have to recharge it. That kind of depends on the amount of use that you get from your device. There's also an indicator for the volume and also one for the Bluetooth link, and it's an exclamation mark if you have been connected to your device. And over here, this is our health app. So again, it tracks your number of steps you've taken. You have to first turn this feature on, and after it's on, actually is the fact that you've, again, walked, and it does a pretty good job. If you shake it, it's not going to automatically add to the number of steps. So it's a pretty sensitive sensor on board. It does a good job of detecting steps versus non-steps, and it also shows you your calories and meters and so on and so forth. It automatically resets this after 1 day, so it doesn't store this information, unfortunately, but at least you can view it at any time during 1 day. On the other hand, the sleep monitor actually stores your information. So if we wanted to go into the sleep monitor here, you can actually select from different dates. So perhaps on the 21st, you can see I didn't use this on these particular days, but if I try on the 21st, I can probably see that there's something recorded there. You can see how here that when I did wear it, it actually did record my sleep, and there's a key here that's partially cut off from the screen, but it shows that the black area is when you didn't sleep, the actual light areas is when you did sleep, and it's going to compare the light sleep to the deep sleep. So it's a pretty interesting sensor here that's on board. It tracks, again, based on the motion, if you're sleeping enough or how long you're sleeping, and it records all of that in a calendar-based view. It's not the most responsive way of looking up your stuff, just because the screen is very small, but at least you do have that feature on board if you do want to use it. Otherwise, it also stores your personal information, so like your age and your height and also your weight and all those stuff. You can easily go and edit those when you need to. The top device of the watch also features a loudspeaker. What I do need to point out here is that when you connect your device to your phone, the actual watch itself also acts as a Bluetooth speaker. So if I'm playing back a video clip on YouTube on my phone, the actual speaker, the sound, is going through the watch, which is interesting. The actual speaker on here is actually pretty good. We found that when we were testing it, it's a bit louder than the one on the Samsung Galaxy S3, and it's also pretty rich. So if I'm playing back a YouTube video, it also acts as a mini Bluetooth speaker. So that's a feature that's kind of hidden and not directly advertised. The remote control here allows you to find your phone. So in case you've lost it, I can disconnect it and now try and find it. And again, now my phone is ringing because it says that I've lost it. Back key to exit, and now I can exit out of that app. So there's a feature there that you can use to find your phone, and it's pretty useful. And there's also a remote capture feature. So I can again use the camera on here to capture a picture. I can rotate the screen. Other security features include a car theft alarm, so it prevents you from, again, having your car being lost. It connects to the device, to your car, using Bluetooth if you do have a newer generation model, and your watch will start ringing and vibrating whenever someone has, again, logged into your car without your permission. And there's also an anti-loss alarm for the watch. So basically it does the reverse of what you saw with the phone. And if you have your phone with you but the watch gets like out of range, then now instead of the phone vibrating, the actual watch will vibrate. Bluetooth notifier. This is a Notice application. It's not WeChat. This is just a basic icon, but you can tap on it, and in this instance it says that we are connected successfully to our device. We can also use the notifier to view our up-to-date pushed notifications, such as our emails and our different feeds from Flipboard and the like. So for example, I can slide down and I can now take a look at different services on here, and it works pretty well. So right now this is Flipboard. Again, it's pretty limited in what you see. The screen is kind of small, but at least you do have a notification there, and it tells us that what we have or what we don't have. I can also tap on it to take a look at more options to delete messages and view messages and the like. But the first time that you open up this app, it does tell you to install an application on your phone. There's going to be a QR code on the device that you need to scan with your camera on your phone, and then you can install the application that you need on the phone to be locked and connected to the watch. So taking a look at what that application is, it automatically installs itself after scanning the QR code. But over here, it's actually titled as the notification. So this is the application, the BT notification, and you can tap on that. You can see that it shows us we're currently connected, what applications can be sent over. You can also edit that, which applications that are currently being notified, and these are all the ones that we have currently in sync with the watch. So you can sync all of these different stuff like calendars, your email, and when to turn it on, when to turn it off. So a pretty complimentary list is included. Taking a look at some other functions of the watch next, we have access to the turning the Bluetooth feature on and off. We have access to the settings, so we can change our profiles, our security settings. Here is the regular call dialer pad. It offers a T9 style layout. The buttons are slightly small for super comfortable typing, but because it is a capacitive sensor, at least it is a bit more responsive than some resistive screens out there. You can see how we can control the actual dialer here and call using the Bluetooth connection. So you can call it the number using our phone, or you can also call using the SIM card directly in here by pressing the blue dialer. And to exit out of an application, we simply long press to go out and slide left and right again. Again, the entire UI experience is pretty cohesive and unified. Whenever we want to go out of an application, we simply long press, and that takes us out every time. The next application here is the messaging app. It's basically the same thing as the phone app did, but it allows you to write messages and compose messages. But as you can imagine, writing messages on this tiny little screen is just not the most ideal experience at all. You can control different settings and also change the language from ABC English to recognizes also Pinyin, which is Chinese. So you can change between Chinese and English, and you can swap between the keyboards, but again, you don't have the full QWERTY keyboard. It's a basic, very, very small keyboard. But again, because it is a capacitive touchscreen, it actually does work if you do have a bit more patience with it. Just not the most comfortable experience in the world. Next up, we have access to the phone book. It shows up all the phone book contacts using Bluetooth connected to your phone. You can search it by name, and there's also access to the phone numbers directly stored onto the phone's memory card, so you can swap between those two. There's also an access to the phone's call history. Under multimedia, we have access to the camcorder. So you can see here the actual camera here is actually pretty good. We can take a snapshot by tapping there, and this is actually recording right now, so we can stop that and save it. Again, no HD video quality or anything like that, but at least it does the trick. We can view back our movie that we just basically recorded there by tapping here and playing it back. And you can see how the device does work pretty well. The microphone on board isn't bad at all. The video quality is a bit shaky, the image saturation isn't that great, and it's a bit blurry as well, but it does the trick for emergency purposes. And again, keeping in mind it's going to be worn on your wrist, it's only going to capture a fraction of the actual viewing angle, so not the best positioning. It would have been better if the camera lens is on top, but for what it is, it's access to a plain old sound recorder. The microphone on board is decent, but it's a bit statically. It's not the best microphone out there. It does a trick though for calling people. There's also an audio player or an MP3 player. It works pretty well. Again, there isn't a 3.5mm headphone jack, so to use it, the device does have a micro USB to a 3.5mm adapter that comes included in the box, which is pretty nice. There's also an FM radio, but we do need to have the headphone plugged in order for that feature to work. There is scrubbing though that you can select from different channels and play it back using the different channel lists, and it's pretty easy to save channels to your favorite lists as well. So the next feature here we have is just a basic organizer. It's an alarm that we can set for different ringtones. It actually is pretty loud. You can have the device vibrate and select from different sounds. There's also a stopwatch feature for exercising if that's what you need it for. So all in all, the V9 smartwatch is a pretty smart device. Again, it isn't as fully fledged in terms of the design. It's not as smooth and lucid as more expensive smartwatches on the market, namely by more professional brands, perhaps by Apple, perhaps by Samsung. But it does the trick if you do need a cell phone watch and also a way for you to connect to your cell phone whenever you have a new message come in, and you want a method for you to prevent losing your phone. It does have that Bluetooth link feature, and so for the money you are getting quite a bit. So it's a good option to get if you are looking for your first perhaps smartwatch to get situated. If you want to check out whether or not you need a smartwatch in the first place, it's a good option because it's very inexpensive and it's pretty easily disposable. Again, the watch here isn't fully water resistant, so don't go swimming with it, but it does have a camera, it does have Bluetooth, it does act as a phone, and it does feel relatively comfortable when you're wearing it. Again, it's going to be larger than your average watch, but not that much larger than other smartwatches currently on the market. You can check out our full review on our website. This has been the V9 smartwatch, and we would rate this product 4 out of 5 stars, which is excellent, and you can find out more details again in our full review. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.